Guys, and welcome to the Witchcraft, which is a first plugin for Laravel, which is visual coding. So instead of writing all your triggers and your actions using coding, you have the option now to write everything using visual scripting. So I just want to show how it works here. So I prepared an example. So let's say that you want to deploy a website. So let's use this example. And every time you deploy your website, you want to do a certain actions. Maybe you want to send an SMS, or you're going to call you, or you want to send an email message. Basically, if you use the variable node with a condition, what we're going to do here is that once is active and equals active, we're going to press deploy. And otherwise, we're going to just say that's an error, and we can now actually choose the type here. In this case, it's warning or error. The notification will be improved. We want to add some more plugins to it, but anyway. Also, let's say that every time you deploy, you want to run migrate. So what you can do here is that you can bring the artisan command, and you can drag and drop this thing right here, and you can write migrate. And now everything is going to be here, so we're just going to save it, deploy. Cool. Now we have the option to simulate this. So basically it's now is equal that and deploy, and as you can see here, it has migrated. So if I open up the logs, I can see that there's nothing to migrate here. And this is actually running the whole command. So if you inspect here, it is actually running the command. So if I press here, as you can see, it's doing fetch requests to our server, and is actually running the commands. And as you can see, there's nothing to migrate on the artisan. So you're probably asking, okay, how can I use this instead of running on the screen? So the way you can actually do this is just that on your code, wherever when you want to run this, I have here an example. It's called the witchcraft trigger, and it requires ID. In this case, we already have ID, and we have the status that we want to do. Because if you guys remember on that example, we have created here an ID of, we give it a output key. This is where you're going to put it right there. Now let me just clean up the execution nodes. I want to show you guys how this works as well. So in here, every time you want to run something manually, let's say every time you have an order you want to execute this, you can just add execute. And what it happens is basically it runs the whole status. So the status is active. And as you can see here, let's say we run deploy, and it has run the artisan command. Now let's say if you put the wrong thing, in this case doesn't match what we're looking for, it will run the other branch, which is going to send an error message. And there's another feature here as well that I want to show, that we have a different kind of node, which is that when, let's say, a user is created, we want to trigger certain actions. So in this case here, we have the user, and I have something called model events. It's just this one here. You can add this node. You're going to select what's the table that you want to use, what's the event type. You don't need to worry about the watch field, any of those keys. They are more like development, but they still be here for the future. Now I'm going to turn on the test mode just so I can see this working with the first user that I have here. Because once you have that turned on to test mode, it only returns the first user. Now what happened is that we're going to extract the JSON, and we're basically going to get the name because it's inside the JSON. Otherwise you just put, test or whatever. And now what happened is that on the condition, I want to make sure that the name equals Mario. If so, then we're going to send a message saying true, and we want to deploy migrate. So if I simulate this flow, look at that. So it's doing this, the condition here, and it goes there. The cool thing about this is that actually is using the backend as a source. So every node runs on the backend. It doesn't run on the front end. So if I go here and let's say I want to run this, I don't want this to be true. I just want to maybe change this to, let's say, not equal. Now, as you can see, it goes here, goes there, and then it goes to this node. Now, you wonder, how can I use this in the model? Very simple. So let's say we have the user model. We're going to add this has witchcraft. That's pretty much all you need to do. All right. And what we're going to do here is that we're going to create a new user. And I'm just going to delete this flow node. so you can see it from scratch how it works. Basically, you refresh the page because the user doesn't match, so the message is false. Okay. But let's say that the user match. So let's put while. If I refresh, as you can see, I executed all the codes, including the migrate command, which has nothing to run. And that's it, guys. So if you like it, please make sure to help around with the asset as well. Thank you.